Forgiven, A Life's Journey from Pain to Peace. Memoirs by Renee Munoz Ledo. Ghost author, myself, Dr. Rosalia Munoz Ledo Coba.
Book read by Omero Corral.
Acknowledgements by Renee. I extend my deepest gratitude to the following persons for their assistance in writing this book and for their love, support, and prayers. To my mother, if it weren't for her, I would not be here. Besides God, she is the main person in my life. To Dr. Joanne Coleman, I give her tops for encouraging me and for her great sense of humor and spiritual support. For her brilliant idea to find and invite Luis Rodriguez to be part of the development of my book, and to Luis for his guidance, expertise, and saying yes. To Doug Lahan for volunteering many hours of his time to videotape and to edit the interview of this book. To the ladies and gentlemen of the World Divine Light Organization, SMBK USA, who traveled bi-weekly to my bedside to ease my spiritual, emotional, and physical pain. To the students who responded during Red Ribbon Drug Prevention Week to Tom's story. Genuinely from their hearts, your words were like gold to me and kept me going strong. They were all a great inspiration to me. To my two favorite cousins, Mark Castillero, who gave me the opportunity to have a productive and respectful role in society, and to Danny Castillero, who has always been there standing by me. To my niece, Melissa Coba, for choosing to take time to transcribe a significant portion of this book. To my nephew, Aaron Coba, for his endless hours of transcribing and editing this manuscript under intense time restraints and pressure, and for his singing and playing his guitar for me. Thank you for writing the song, Live On. Thank God for people like you. To my two new adopted brothers who promised to take care of my mother after I am gone, Rudy Lopez, Brother Bear, for his beautiful flute playing that soothed my pain and for bringing many bears into my life. To Stacy Lopez, who drove me to the hospital. To Luis Bonet, many bears, for the healing water crystal, his prayers, healing Lakota songs, and most of all, for helping me forgive myself. To my childhood friend, Mary Veleta Gonzalez, thank you for taking me to the acupuncturist and for referring me to your attorney friend, Sean Thiever, who changed the direction of my life in 1973. And to my sister Rosie, who convinced me to write this book in the first place. That's me. And now the family is eternally grateful to the two editors, Graciela Moore and Gloria Pedersen, for their endless hours that were donated to bring this book into manifestation, and equally appreciative to the translators, Alicia Patterson, Carmen Turner, and the ministers of the SMBK USA, Irvine, California, and for all their pro bono time. In addition, I would like to acknowledge Omero Corral, who recorded the voice of Renee's story and who was the technician for this production. Thank you very much for all your time. Forward by Dr. Reverend Joanne K. Coleman. This book is both the journey, destination, and the legacy of Renee, a man who emboldened by the sure knowledge of his forgiveness. Like a man whose hair is on fire, is in search of a pond, he welcomed forgiveness. In the cool, restorative waters of change, the embers of self-hating were extinguished. Renee began to fall in love with God, and as he reclaimed the holy trust ability for himself, he began to notice the ways in which his prayers were being answered. This book is one of the ways he followed spiritual synchronicities to the people, places, events, and experiences that supported his faith in the love and care of God. Writing allowed him to access that place within himself where the mysteries of joy and pain, grief and anger, yearning, hope, and release reside. Writing sustained him through his experience of life, death, and did the difficult work of changing himself. I traveled with him for a while. I learned from him. I loved him. Now I bear witness to his life, and soon you will too. Rene took the raw material of his ancient hurts and made something of it, made something lovely of it. And here you hold that which is bequeathed to us all. It is a memorial, testament, and map for the inward journey. May you also learn to live as he did, forgiven. Preface, written by Graciela Muñoz Ledo. My son, Rene Luis Muñoz Ledo, was born on August 25, 1953, in Mexico City, Mexico. Originally, both sides of our family were natives of Michoacán, Mexico. Both families were considered to be in the upper middle class and were personal friends of President General Lázaro Cárdenas in the 1930s. He was the best man at my parents' wedding in 1924. The reason Rene was born in Mexico City was because President Cárdenas appointed both of Rene's grandfathers to responsible positions in Mexico City when he became president. Rene's paternal grandfather, Eliezer Muñoz Ledo, became an auditor monitoring the scales and weighs in the outdoor markets to prevent abuse of the poor. My father, Luis Garcia Barba, who was Rene's maternal grandfather, was appointed head of payroll for the government employees at the Mexico City Hall. He was in charge of paying the employees in cash, which allowed him to have access to a large room full of money. He was always so proud of the trust and responsibility that was given to him in this position. After Rene's father and I were married, life started to become harder for us in Mexico in 1956. My father-in-law contacted his cousin, Alfonso Castillero Sr., who was living in Los Angeles, to ask him if he would be willing to sponsor Rene's father, Rene Hugo Muñoz Ledo Sr., and help him get employment. He agreed, so my husband moved to Los Angeles and started working there. Rene's father's vision was to improve the quality of life for his family in the United States. My husband worked hard saving his earnings, and within 6 months he was able to purchase airplane tickets and send for Rene, age 2, Rosie, age 3, and myself, who was 8 months pregnant with Lily. Rene was not aware of this story until his 50th birthday when he started to write this book. He thought he was a wetback, illegal immigrant, smuggled across the border by coyotes. As he started to write his life story, I shared with him what really happened. If it had not been for him writing this book, he might have never known how he came to the United States. And the same is true with other parts of his life. We as a family learned of events that happened in his life for the first time, and we had never known about, as Rene wrote about them for this book. Some of the stories he shared left us speechless. This book helped create an experience of intimacy and special bonding among our family. We were able to express our unconditional love for him, which he desperately needed to receive. The secrets of his past were out, and it was okay. In spite of all that Rene did throughout his life that was wrong, we still loved him. Until the age of about 14, Rene was usually quiet, reserved, and shy. You might say he was the invisible one in our family until, well, it's now time for him to share his stories with you. Thank you for helping my son's dream come true.
Introduction. I came from a family of 7, 4 sisters, mom, dad, and myself. I was the only boy. I was a mama's boy and the protector of my 4 sisters. We grew up on the outskirts of East Los Angeles on the south side of the San Gabriel Valley. At the age of 17, I was recruited by 3 locals, or crazies, from the neighborhood, which were associates from the Animal Tribe gang. Since I was the only boy in my family and my father was always working and busy, I felt like I needed to be around other males that would be there if I had any trouble from the tribe. I did not fit in with the crackers, the white boys, or the nerds. There was only 1 or 2 brothers, Afro-Americans, in my high school. I came from a good family that gave me everything I wanted and needed, except for the pony that we could not afford nor had the space to keep. When I was 16 years old, my father took me to La Piedad, Mexico, to visit my relatives on their horse ranch. I really enjoyed the experience of riding horses. My dream was to someday own my own horse, but I never did. So I'm not that kind of hoodlum that had a drunk for a father or a whore for a mother. My family is well respected with good morals. They're the main reason why I'm trying to write this book.